addressed several issues ranging from the current situation in Tigray and matters related to humanitarian assistance efforts to allegations of human rights abuses and Eritrean refugees, including the status of the Ethiopia-Sudan border dispute. The Ethio-Sudan Joint Border Commission says the ongoing border dispute can be settled by institutions of the respective countries or nations only. The Commission indicated that Ethiopia is taking bold steps to settle the dispute through peaceful dialogue. Sintayr Tamrat presents the remainder of the story filed by the Ethiopian News Agency.
Wahab Muluna, a member of the Ethio-Sudan Border Commission, says Ethiopia and Sudan reached agreements in 1972 to demarcate their borders again through dialogue. In 2002, the two countries set up a joint border committee, technical committee, and joint special committee to find remedy to their border issues. The border dispute between Ethiopia and Sudan can be resolved through the joint institutions the two countries have set up, he stressed.
The special committee recommendation is
the status quo or de facto holding remains unless the joint technical committee proposes a recommendation. A solution is disposable only when the two countries agree. The special joint committee has so far held 8 meetings to bring a lasting solution to the problem. We recorded evidence for this, which was signed by both parties. However, the final recommendation that brings amicable solution has not been written. This treaty or exchange of notes is binding. Till then, de facto holding or the status quo will work. But Sudan recently violated this agreement and entered Ethiopian border by force.
Based on the agreements mentioned, Sudan's recent claim of regaining its land after occupying Ethiopian territory is unacceptable, he pointed out. He further explained Ethiopia and Sudan can solve their border disputes through institutions the two countries have set up.
The boundary mechanisms nacho solution የሚያመጡት.
It is the boundary mechanism that would resolve the issue. Despite possibility that the media may later report that a certain political decision was made, it is these boundary mechanisms that become solutions. But the mechanisms have not finished their assignment. So what Ethiopia is proposing as a solution is to enter negotiation.
Ethiopia has a firm stance in settling the dispute through peaceful dialogue, Wahab added.
እኛ በኩል ያለው ቀጣይ እርምጃ peaceful.
Our next measure is to undertake peaceful negotiation and bring amicable solution to the dispute. And for this to happen, the mechanisms shall resume their assignments. In this regard, there will be a high-level meeting in Addis Ababa, though the date has not been selected yet. On this meeting, Ethiopia will reflect its clear stance, which is reactivating the mechanisms and solve the dispute.
We've called upon the Sudan to learn from the global trend of settling similar disputes and come to the table to alleviate the issue through dialogue.
Spokesperson of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs yesterday sat with Alain Maharik to discuss developments on the GERD negotiations and the recent Ethiopia-Sudan border dispute. Regarding the border dispute, Ambassador Dina Mufti underscored that it will not serve the inherent needs of the people of Sudan. He said Ethiopia requested the Sudan to evacuate its militia that occupied Ethiopian areas by displacing farmers as precondition for negotiation. Addressing chairmanship of the DRC following South Africa's exiting from its current chairmanship, Ambassador Dina reflects Ethiopia's unshakable confidence on the AU-led negotiation and the principle of African solutions to African problems. He recalled Ethiopia's role in building peace during the time the DRC faced in the 1960s and said the country's chairmanship over the negotiation won't negatively affect Ethiopia's principle-based negotiation.
This is Professor Hirut Oldamariam.
I'm Ethiopia's candidate for African Union Education, Science, Technology and Innovation Commission Commissioner position. I believe that there is no greater calling than serving the advancement of Africa in its aim to become peaceful, prosperous, integrated and globally influential continent. The Africa we want can only be realized through quality, relevant and inclusive education. And we Africans deserve a much higher quality of life. And science, technology, and innovation is essential to ensure sustainable growth in the continent. And this is the way to realize the Africa we want. My parents were my pillars of strength. My father, who was a graduate of Addis Ababa University and a high school teacher of African geography and history, has been telling me all about the power of education. That has left an incredible impression on me regarding Pan-Africanism and African Renaissance since childhood. And my mother was a spiritual and always optimistic. And she gave me the strength and the inspiration to be fearless and to face any challenge in life. The greatest treasure that I inherited from my African parents was the passion to learn and to give back to Africa. And doing my PhD studies at the Institute of African Studies, University of Cologne in Germany. And that gave me the chance to engage with a number of colleagues from all over Africa. And that helped me, reinforcing my desire to serve at the continental level. My vision is to enable inclusive, relevant, and high-quality education and a deep culture of innovation that will unleash the potential of Africa's youth for the continent's rightful and timely advancement as per Agenda 2063's aspiration. My vision is to unleash African minds and the indigenous knowledge of our ancestors so that poverty becomes a history of the past, to empower our youth, to convert society's problems into opportunity and innovation. The AUESTI, which I'm aspiring to lead, is a key center of transforming the continent into the global powerhouse of the future. Addis Ababa University gave me the chance to exceed in the domain of leadership, in progressively increasing positions of responsibilities. In fact, I was the first female vice president and the first female full professor in the area of humanities and social sciences. Published about 3 dozens of peer-reviewed articles in international academic journals on a range of subjects. All those platforms have given me the visibility to be handpicked by government to serve at a higher level of leadership. And in fact, I've served as a cabinet minister in 3 different ministerial portfolios. And currently, I'm serving as a Minister Social Sector Advisor to His Excellency Dr. Abiy Ahmed, the Prime Minister. I have a distinguished track record as a reformer in the Ethiopian science and higher education sector. I have initiated and implemented important reform in the curriculum of Ethiopian higher education. Also differentiation of higher education institutions by areas of specializations, providing a clear science policy of Ethiopia, and bringing women to leadership positions in higher education, and new regulations on public-private partnership in higher education and TVET, introduced digital literacy program as a community service, and green legacy of the Ethiopian higher education institutions, and more. We need African education that solves Africa's problems for the benefit of Africa. I call for a bold curriculum reform that will help the continent leaping into a knowledge economy. Education and skill development need to be quality and also relevant for the 21st century job market. And I reaffirm the need to allocate at least 1% of each country's GDP to research and development. I mean, investing in education and research is investing in our future. We need to have a strong Pan-African scholarship where the brightest of our high school graduates from across the continent assemble to receive a truly African education and with harmonized accreditation system and qualification standards so that we can realize the integrated Africa that we want. And forging equity beyond rhetoric, we need to act on gender equity and social equity in education, science, technology, and innovation. It will be my mission to serve as a golden link for the African Union to make Africa a stronger, united, resilient, and influential global player and partner. Vote for me.
Welcome back. Sabhat Naga and 8 other former TPLF leaders appeared in court today. The Arada bench of the Federal First Instance Court granted the 14 days requested by the police to finalize investigations. Sabhat Naga, the first chair of the TPLF until the early 1980s, Abadi Zamu, former Ethiopian ambassador to the Sudan, and Solomon Kidane are among the 9 who appeared in court. The investigation team of the Federal Police Commission's Criminal Investigation Bureau explained to the court what it had done until today's appointment. Accordingly, the police announced that they have laid hands on proof on each of the defendants. Minister of Peace Muferiat Kamil today received at her office the UNHCR delegation led by Filippo Grandi. The minister briefed the UNHCR's chief on various activities Ethiopia is undertaking in connection with humanitarian assistance and refugee affairs. The two also discussed future areas of collaboration, according to the Ministry of Peace. The UNHCR team is currently on a visit to Tigray. ETV will bring you details as soon as they are available.